Hey guys, welcome. It's Ashley Amick here and my daughter.
Hi.
This is Carly. We hopped on yesterday to show you guys. We did the priming of some emojis, so we got some yellow on them. So today we were going to come on and show you guys the next step on painting emojis. So give me just 1 second. I'm trying to make sure I get this pulled up so that I have comments. Whenever you guys are able to hop on, drop some hearts or some thumbs up if you can want, or if you're seeing us and hearing us, and let us know what you think. So the first thing we did was 2 coats of yellow. So now we're ready to start getting our colors on. So since Carly's gonna be helping me today, I'm gonna kind of do the outside lines for her, and then I'm gonna give it to her so she can fill in with the rest of that color. So I'm gonna just start with any of them. It doesn't really matter which one I start with. This one is the only one that has red, so I kind of thought, well, let's just get the red out of the way.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna come in here. I'm using my script liner. It is your really fine tip brush. You can get any of these at Hobby Lobby, Michael's, any kind of craft stores. And this particular brush I actually use on every single pattern that I outline. So it takes a while to break in brushes and get them to work the way that you like them to work. So this is my chosen one that I've been using for several months.
Mom,
Yes.
it's on there.
Oh, I clicked on the wrong one. That might be why I'm not seeing comments, y'all. Hold on.
I was gonna tell you that you were talking to
There we go. Hey, Debbie.
Hi.
Good to see you. I'm having technical issues over here.
I was gonna call it out, but you were talking to them.
Oh, yeah. You can always call it out. That's totally fine.
I didn't want to interrupt the audience. You were talking to the audience.
So I'm just kind of coming in here and tracing these lines for Carly. That way she can fill in the middle part for me. All right. So I'm kind of just giving her the lines. All I did was follow the etching, just like in a coloring book. And that one, here's your red.
Thank you.
So while she's filling in the hearts on that one, I'm gonna grab my next one and kind of just keep doing this same thing with her. I'll give her the outline shape with my color, and then I'm gonna hand it over to her and let her fill it in.
I'm sometimes not good at filming.
It's okay. That's totally fine. Looks good, babe. If you take your brush and you tilt your angle like this a little bit, you don't have to put so much pressure either. Really, really light. There you go. But if you kind of tilt it at this angle, Cookers, like this, it'll glide a lot smoother. See how my brush is tilted over to the side?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're all practicing. This is Carly's second time painting live with me. We came on yesterday, so we're all new at this. I'm getting some of my white ready. Anytime I use any brush, or when I'm using my script liner, because it's such a thin brush and I use this to outline everything, it's going to glide a lot easier if you water your paint down. It's okay, don't worry about it. When it dries, we can touch it up. It's just paint, so anytime you make them boo-boo, that's fine. We are gonna just let it dry, and we'll touch up those afterwards. So I'm gonna take that brush
Okay.
and put it in here. And give me just a second, I'll give you this one.
Oh, there's no color.
But what I was saying is I'm just putting in a little bit of water into this and thin it out a little bit. And that way it's going to be a lot more fluid of a motion, especially if you're trying to do outlines or circles. And if you're having trouble with the brushes that you're using, try adding a little bit of water to your paint and see if that will help you. So typically, you know, I would just add a few drops, but this white is particularly thick. So I kind of added a little bit more. I don't know if you could see. It's a little bit more drippy. That way it'll be a lot easier for me to get that smooth, consistent line I'm wanting. Now I am gonna outline these eyeballs in black, so I don't have to worry about this line being perfect because I still have another job to do when it comes to this.
Yeah. And nothing's perfect, so you don't have to expect it.
And that's right, nothing's perfect. Hey, go grab a brush off the table. I washed them and I left them over there. Sorry, y'all. I wasn't as prepared as I guess I should be today.
Wait, which table?
Baby, the table where I always sit, over there. Keep walking. All right, so as Carly's gonna go grab a brush so she can fill in these eyeballs, I'm just gonna be working on the next one. Anytime I'm already using a color, I like to go across the board and use that color on every piece that I can. That way I'm not having to get a brush, change it out every time I'm working on a different piece. Instead, I use that same color across the board, and then I can put my brush up.
I'll dry it off.
All righty. I'm gonna set this one aside for her. Again, I'm just giving her kind of the outline that she could follow along on the inside of that. You know, you don't even have to do that if your kids wanna do it just on their own. This is how I do things. Now, if it was just me by myself and Carly wasn't here, I would have just filled in that whole eyeball, but I wanted us to be able to do something together. So on this one, on your laughing face, he doesn't technically have eyeballs, but I am gonna give him some teeth, so. I'm gonna just put a little bit of white right here. And then let that dry. Now, as far as white, all of my pieces, none of the rest of them have eyeballs, so I'm gonna leave this one in front of me, and now I'm gonna clean out my brush. We are gonna use white again, but not until the very end. White is always gonna be your last step as a highlight after you finish everything else. So we will use that again, just not now. Now on this one, I have this laughing eyes. The teardrops are almost a blue color, so if any of you guys did peeps or eggs, or you've already picked up this blue color, you just need a little bit of this to use for the eyeballs on here. So same thing, I'm just gonna trace that line so Carly can follow along with it. I'm curious to know how your kids have been doing. Are they enjoying it? Are they getting frustrated with the painting process, or hopefully they've been enjoying it so far? Yes. Yeah. Let me give that to you. Will you get those corners too with that blue? I always like my corners to match the top on my pieces, so. Okay, let me see. Oh, pink. Hand me that tongue one so I can do the pink on that. We need more space, y'all. Now this one has a tongue, so I'm gonna go ahead and get that tongue traced in pink so Carly can fill that in for me too. Again, if you're having trouble and you're trying to use a skinny brush and you're having trouble getting that paint to glide, you could always just try adding a couple of drops of water and mixing it and seeing if that helps. Typically that helps me. Alrighty, there you go. Now I'm done with pink, I'm done with white, I'm done with blue and red. So now I'm gonna move on to black. I'm just gonna fill in the faces. Oh, sorry, Carly.
It's okay.
I'm gonna fill in the faces with some black and actually do my shading last. Typically I do my shading before I do the outline work, anything with my black. But since these faces we're not gonna outline in black, I'd rather fill in that middle. So when I come and I do this outside, I'm not laying my arm across the piece, trying to shade it, and then I'm really good at making the paint slide all the way across because I like to drag my arm. So I'm gonna fill in the face first with black. Now some of these, because the lines are really tiny, I'm gonna just go ahead and do it. But the ones that have the bigger mouths, I'll fill in kind of the perimeter and hand it over to Carly and let her do that. This black is already watered down. Can you guys see that? Dripping kind of consistency. That's what you're gonna want anytime you're doing the detail work. The thinner that it is, the more that your brush is gonna be able to control all that fluid or all the movements of it. Hey Kimberly, hey Helen, how are you guys? Now, you just saw me drip some paint on here. If you guys drip paint anytime that you're painting, if it dripped on a dry part, feel free to go ahead and wipe it off right then and there. If it dripped on a part that is already wet, you're gonna need to let it completely dry before you do touch-ups. Since this is paint, You can touch up everything. You don't like the way something looks, no big deal. Let it dry, and then you can turn around and paint over it and fix it. You want to tell them something?
Yeah.
Carly's typing you guys a message. You could just say it. No? No? She's being shy. Can they see? Yeah, okay, just trying to make sure. All right, let's see.
Finally, I'm done. There.
Now this one has a rather small line, so it's not really leaving me a whole lot of space to leave room for Carly to help on that.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Yeah. 'Cause I got
I'm
to
just
fill it
kind of
in.
filling in those lines. Will you stick that over here? And let me see this one with a really big mouth, because this is perfect for you to be able to help with. I'm gonna just take my black and trace these lines and hand it on over to Carly and let her fill it in. I think you need to show them some of the ones that you've done so far. You've had some creative ones. You want to show?
Yeah. It's like show and tell except on
Yeah,
the left.
Carly and whoa,
Oh, sorry.
that's okay. Carly loves painting. She's always painting canvas for me, and I have some paintings up around my shop that she's done. So she likes to come out here and hang out and do her own kind of thing. Now me, I'm not good with canvas. I can't do the freehand of sorts. I prefer the lines so that it's more like painting, coloring in a coloring book to me.
Here's one of mine.
Here, put it close. She made clouds on it.
I'm-
Isn't that cute?
I'm not really good at drawing everything else, so I'm only good at drawing sunsets, to be honest.
I think you did a fantastic job.
My teachers even say that I'm good at reading.
Yeah. Now, just like yesterday, I know we came on and just did a little bit of yellow. We didn't really show too much. Everything that you're doing with this is a step-by-step process. So there's gonna be things that I can't do until these layers dry. Like for instance, I'm gonna have to come in here and I'm gonna have to shade these teardrops, but I'm not gonna be able to do that until everything is completely dry, as well as shading the outside of this. Some of these I can go ahead and shade when they're wet because the lines aren't close to the perimeter. Like this one I could definitely shade right now. This one I wouldn't be able to. I could do some of the yellow, but I wouldn't be able to shade my blue until it's dry. So I got these two ready for you when you're ready, babe.
I'm trying to find the
Let's
one
see.
that I did for you.
I'm hoping you guys can hear me okay. I haven't,
Do you know where the one I did for you?
I don't know, baby. I have no idea. I just accidentally drug paint across here. And it was dry, but I'm gonna have to touch that up after the video. Those of you that have gotten some of your pieces, how are y'all liking painting so far? How are the kids liking it?
Where's the...
Black. Oh, we're gonna have to share actually. Yeah. Trying to see that. I'm not having a good time seeing today. I just got a new camera in yesterday, you guys, and I was trying to go live with it earlier and I could not figure it out. But when I do figure it out, I'm hoping that the angle from watching the paint is actually going to be a lot better. The GoPro, it's crazy. I can hold it about this far up off the table and you can see the entire table. It doesn't quite work like that on my phone. So as soon as I can figure out how to use it, I think you guys are really going to like your ability to see what we're doing a lot better. Let's see. I heard her gasp. What does that mean? You didn't like it?
I thought I got it on the teeth.
Oh, it's okay. Even if you do, it's paint. It'll dry and we can fix it. We can fix it. As long as you don't have glitter on your piece, you can fix anything that happens. But if you already put glitter on it, which glitter's your last step if you're doing Christmas, for instance, that's the only thing that would be difficult to fix. But as long as it doesn't have glitter, it's easy. All right, so you filled in those two.
No.
All right, I got one more you're gonna help me with. I'm gonna give you your perimeter. Now some of these I can definitely show you guys today how to shade. But ones like this, the sunglasses are a little too close to that edge, and I know my paintbrush is gonna come over top of it. So like this one in particular, I'm definitely gonna have to wait for it to fully dry before I can shade it. Woo, you just got me in the face with that. Is that your paint water?
Yeah, they were still like wet from when I got them.
Alrighty. Sorry, y'all, I'm not so good at talking because I kind of get wrapped up in doing my own thing or doing what I'm doing in that moment. All right, so, oh, sorry, girlfriend. I'm gonna wash out my brush for now.
I'll talk to you guys if you guys.
And Carly said she's gonna help talk. The next thing I am gonna do on a few of these is I am going to show y'all how to shade. I have 2 different shaders. To be quite honest with y'all, I had 3 shaders that I used the last 10 years. And then when we moved to from Denver back to Houston, I lost 2 in the move somehow. So then the last year I was down to 1, and I used this same shading brush for every single piece that I produced last year. So like thousands of pieces, that same brush I used. Well, I think I overused it, and so now my bristles went haywire and it looks horrible. So I've been working on breaking in these brushes, which were actually my mom's, because I called her to see what brushes she could give me that were already broken in. Broken in brushes are the best. They're gonna hold paint a lot better. They're gonna go a lot smoother. So the only way to break in a brush is to use them. Well, since I had a mom that, you know, already broke in some, I went and stole a few from her. So here's one. This is a Royal Gold number 16. Woo! Will you get a napkin? A Royal Gold number 16, and you can get these at Hobby Lobby. This one's pretty good. I'm still working on it on my end, getting it broken in a little bit more. So I'm gonna use this one. Sorry, y'all, I spilled some paint. You don't have to put it in your hand. Here, watch out. Watch your hand. There we go. And go wash that off. It's part of painting. You spill it, and that's how you see me getting my shirts so nasty. A lot of times my shirts become paint shirts because I walk out here and I try to do something really quick, and I'm in normal clothes, and then what do you know, I get paint on me and I end up wiping it on myself. So that's how I have so many paint clothes. We are just making a mess. Okay, now here's my shading yellow. This is really, really thick. Do you see how it's barely even dripping down? I'm gonna add a little bit of water to it because I already know I don't like the way that this is going to glide at that thickness. So I'm just gonna add some water and mix it before I even attempt. I've worked with obviously all these colors for a long time, so some of them I already know exactly what to expect. And this one, I expect it's not gonna look the way I like if I don't put water in it. So now I'm gonna take my brush, it's my flat shader, and I'm gonna just be dipping in this tip, kind of like this corner triangle right here. Now, if you get more on there than you're wanting, that's fine. Wipe it off and try it again. I'm gonna take this loaded side and put it around that outside. And I'm just gonna try to get my brush stroke to go as far as possible. That one obviously didn't go too far. But in order to keep those fluid motions and to not be able to see those lines, you want it to go as far as possible. Now, when I'm using this normally and I'm floating around my room and I'm doing 20 or 30 pieces at a time, by the time I get to the end, I can normally flow through that in one fluid motion instead of just coming on there 4 different times like I just did. But I don't have a lot of paint loaded in my brush just yet. But let me show y'all what it looks like. You can see the black I accidentally smeared across there that I'm gonna have to touch up. But that's your basic shading. I am not good at circles and I am not good at straight lines. So if you look close, it's not perfect. It's not gonna be perfectly symmetrical. The thickness over here looks a little thinner than the thickness over here. That's okay. These are meant to be seen from a distance. So I don't worry so much about the particulars of things like that. You want to show them what else you've been doing?
I found 2 more outside. Well, 1 inside, but first I did this one. This one's kind of bad,
It's not bad. It looks good. I like it.
I couldn't do the face mask because.
So she's doing it like a little face mask, a COVID-19 face mask. All right. And show us your other one, Carly.
And then I have a TikTok devil.
A TikTok devil?
Yeah.
What's a TikTok devil?
I just put red in.
Oh, do you do a TikTok video with it? Yeah.
No, I didn't.
She's creative, y'all. I like it. Thank you, baby. All right, same thing on here. Taking my yellow, I'm dipping my corner, that triangle. Now me, I like a lot of paint so that I can bring it over and try to keep that motion as fluid as possible and make it all the way around. See, that time I made it all the way around, but now I'm seeing that one side is a little thicker than the other, so I'm gonna try to even that out a little bit. Now I'm gonna show you guys something too. Do you see right here how it's really not that fluid? That's also a great point right there, where when I do come in with that white and I do my outline, or my highlights, excuse me, that would be a perfect place to put it. If you're seeing something that you really don't like, it's fine. You can hide it with a white. In fact, that's what I do on every piece that I paint. Because none of my pieces are ever going to look perfect. They're all done by hand. Now this one, I'm gonna do some touch-ups on it, but those sunglasses are a little too close to the rim, so I'm gonna have to wait on that one to dry before I can shade it. So I can grab this one and get some shading on it. Same thing, your flat shader, take your corner, get your triangle, and hit it around your perimeter. Now it's gonna take a while for you to get used to a shader once you do start using it. So don't be hard on yourself if you're having to stop and load your brush like 5 or 6 times. Just do try to make sure once you have enough paint all the way around that you take that brush and you follow those motions so that you're not seeing those chops of every little time that you brought that paint down on that piece. You're gonna wanna go over top of it to try and mask the look of your different strokes. So, got this one. I think I can go in and get some yellow on it. I might come over here close to the eyes a little bit because I like my lines a little thick, but if I do, oh well, that's fine. Now on these, because I know I'm not gonna outline these, I think that these look fine with just the shading on the outside. So I am making sure that I'm getting that brush all the way hitting that side. That way I don't have to worry about any yellow showing around the perimeter of my piece. So now I'm gonna wait on this to dry before I come in and do the black on my eyeballs because it's all touching at this moment and we just put that white down and that white needs to finish drying. So hand me the one, you're just eating ice cream during the live? Here we go. I guess it's snack time, y'all. Can I have that one? This is the only other one I can get the shading on. For me, shading and outlining were the most difficult things to learn, or you know, to get a grasp of it. It just took me, honestly, it felt like years to do good at it. So I'm gonna say practice. You can even flip these on the back and practice with any color you have. It doesn't have to even be, you know, the color you're using. The back doesn't matter. So that's a perfect place to flip something over. I'm gonna borrow this one. To flip something over and just practice. Because whenever we do finish this piece, we are going to paint the back. So whatever you do on here practicing, it really doesn't matter. But that's a great place to start if you're brand new to shading, is just working on those brush strokes.
Is shading the outline or no?
No, shading and outlining are different. Shading you do with the shader, and outlining you do with that script liner. That's at the bottom of my bucket. So I would definitely say use the back to your advantage. You can also use things like wax paper. Put some wax paper down and just practice brush strokes. Like for me personally, keeping a straight line is very difficult. My lines are always zigzaggy and it's kind of like my handwriting. I don't care for my handwriting. So it always becomes the same thing whenever I am painting. So it's just one of those things that practice is gonna make perfect, and it's gonna just take time practicing the motions and practicing with the same brush and kind of breaking in those brushes. And you'll notice over time, if you're using the same brushes, you'll notice it getting better. You'll notice it getting softer. You'll notice your lines are looking better. It's just, that's because you've broken in your brush. So for today, I'm gonna have to, I can throw a little black on here. That's about all I really can do until some stuff dries. I kind of liked coming on here and doing these broken up a little bit so it's not so much, but if you guys prefer them all together, let me know and I can start doing it that way and having things prepped that are already dried before we hop on. That way I can actually do start to finish. Let me see, I gotta get my black. All right. I'm gonna throw a little bit of black on here. Oh, I don't know if you just saw, I just got my arm over here, which is exactly why I said to do the face first and not shade, because you're gonna drag your arm in it. Well, I just did.
Yeah.
Now, once these dry, the ones that you already saw me, that just have the plain black face, that don't have the teardrops and all that, those ones, the only thing they need left is some white highlights around it. That's it. It's all these other ones that have the other colors, like this one with the tongue, and then the teardrop one, or laughing face, whatever it's called. I'm not good at these terms, y'all. Those ones are gonna need a little bit more. We're gonna need to work on our tongue a little bit, do some shading on that, and then we're gonna also need to shade those teardrops with a darker blue. So that will be tomorrow, and so definitely tomorrow all of these will be finished up together. They don't have much more to go. These are really simple, easy patterns. So on this one, I'm gonna wait for that white. It's not, well, let me see. Maybe it's dry enough I can do the eyeball. I'm gonna wait on the outside of that eyeball because it's still got some chunks on there. So tomorrow, when we hop back on, it'll be pretty quick. We just gonna have to trace around this eyeball and do some highlights. And then, hand me that one, please, babe. That one. And then this one, we're gonna have to shade the perimeter and shade the teardrops. So I really hope that the shade, kind of just talking about shading and showing you guys shading helps. We are trying to do better on our end of making videos and trying to make sure that we're talking about the process, but giving it to you guys in such a way that it makes sense. So I'm hoping that this made sense. Let us know if you guys like the videos broken up a little bit or if you just prefer to have them all together. For now, we're gonna say bye and we will see you guys tomorrow.
Bye,
Thank y'all for watching.
Have a blessed day.
Bye guys.